Close your eyes for a moment and imagine this. A mind so still that no storm of what-ifs can shake it. No more sleepless nights replaying old mistakes. No more feeling trapped by the weight of tomorrow. Just peace, a deep, steady calm that holds you like the earth beneath your feet. It may sound like a dream, but it's not. This kind of inner freedom is possible, and it's closer than you think. In fact, the path has been walked for over 2,500 years by those who followed the timeless wisdom of Buddhism. Today, I want to invite you to walk it too. We're going to explore 8 profound Buddhist lessons that can help you step out of the endless storm of overthinking and into the clear, open sky of your own mind. I'm not here to give you abstract philosophy or motivational hype. I'm here to give you tools, practices that work because they've been tested by time and confirmed by modern psychology. So before we begin, ask yourself, if your mind could finally rest, if you could let go of the loop that's been spinning in your head for years, what would you do with all that freedom? Stay with me, because the first lesson will shift how you see your thoughts forever. And so, we arrive at the first key in today's journey. Stop feeding the what-if machine before it consumes your peace. Have you noticed how easily your mind leaps into the future, spinning endless worst-case scenarios? What if I fail? What if they leave? What if something terrible happens? It feels like preparing for the unknown. But in reality, it's a trap that doesn't bring solutions, only fear. Every time you feed this machine with your attention, it grows louder, hungrier. It steals your sleep, tightens your chest, and paints shadows where there could be light. You think you're protecting yourself, but you're only building a prison out of thoughts that haven't even happened. Buddhist wisdom teaches us something radically different. The present moment is where your true strength lives. Not in tomorrow, not in next week, not in the hundreds of futures your mind invents, but here, in the breath you're taking right now. So how do we stop the what-if machine? We anchor ourselves. Feel your breath deep and slow. Notice the weight of your body against the chair. Sense the air touching your skin. Look around you, not at your phone, not into the endless scroll of worries, but at the life that's actually here. Here's the truth. When challenges come, you will meet them with the same strength that has carried you through every past difficulty. You've survived before. You've adapted before. Why doubt yourself now? Think of a time in your life when you were faced with something you thought you couldn't handle. But you did. You grew stronger, wiser. That strength didn't disappear. It's still within you, waiting for the moment it's needed. So the next time your mind starts whispering, "What if?" Pause, place a hand over your heart and ask, "Is this helping me right now?" 99% of the time, the answer will be no. And in that pause, you'll feel it. The what-if machine slowing down, the noise fading, and a quiet voice inside you saying, "Be here. This is enough." And now, as we gently step forward from the last insight, something powerful begins to unfold. You start to realize that the storm inside you isn't made of reality, it's made of thoughts. Which brings us to our second key in today's journey. Thoughts are just passing clouds, not the truth. One of the most liberating teachings in Buddhism says, "You are not your thoughts." Let that sink in, because most of our suffering comes from believing every single story our mind tells us. We wear them like heavy coats, even on the sunniest days. Think about it. How many times have you told yourself, "I'm going to fail," and felt your chest tighten, your heart sink? But pause for a moment. Is that an unshakable fact, or just a flicker of fear passing through your mind? The mind is a brilliant storyteller, but it doesn't always tell the truth. It mixes memories, fears, hopes, and imagination into one continuous stream, and then convinces you it's reality. Buddhism teaches us to see these mental events for what they are: temporary, fleeting, without ultimate power over us. Here's a simple yet profound practice. The next time a heavy thought arrives, don't fight it and don't follow it. Instead, take a slow breath and gently say to yourself, "This is just a thought." In that single moment, you create space between you and the story. Suddenly, you're not standing in the middle of the storm. You're watching it from the safety of the shore, and from that safe place, peace begins to return. The thought may still pass by, like a dark cloud across a bright sky, but it no longer defines you. Imagine you're sitting by a river. Leaves float past on the surface. Each leaf is a thought. You don't have to pick them up. You don't have to chase them. You simply let them pass. Over time, you'll see that the river of your mind can flow without drowning you. This is not about suppressing thoughts or pretending they don't exist. It's about recognizing their nature, temporary, shifting, harmless unless we cling to them. The moment you stop treating every thought as truth, you reclaim your freedom. So the next time your mind whispers a fear, remember, you are the sky and your thoughts are just the clouds. They will pass, always. When we begin to see thoughts as passing clouds, a new possibility emerges. We realize we have the power not just to let them pass, but to reshape the ones that keep returning. And that leads us to the third step in our journey today, transforming negative thoughts into paths of strength. Negative thought loops, the quiet whispers like, I'm not good enough, or nothing ever works out for me, are like weeds in a garden. Left unchecked, they spread, taking up space where flowers could grow. Overthinking thrives in this environment, feeding on the belief that these thoughts are absolute truths. Buddhism offers a tool that is both gentle and revolutionary, reframing. Instead of swallowing every negative thought whole, we pause and ask, is this really true? Or is there another way to see this? It's not about painting over the pain with false positivity. It's about looking directly at the challenge with clarity and compassion. For example, the thought, I'll never be able to do this, can be transformed into, this will be difficult, but I will take it one step at a time. This small shift changes the entire emotional landscape. It replaces paralysis with movement, fear with possibility. Think of your mind as a lens. If the lens is clouded with self-doubt, every scene will look darker than it really is. Reframing is like cleaning that lens. The world hasn't changed, but the way you see it has. This practice isn't about denying hardship. Life will still bring moments of struggle, but reframing teaches you to meet those moments as a wise friend would, with patience, understanding, and a steady belief that growth is possible. Here's something to try. The next time you notice a negative loop, write it down. Then just beneath it, write a gentler, truer version of the same thought. Over time, this habit rewires your inner dialogue, teaching your mind to speak to you with kindness rather than criticism. Remember, the goal is not to silence all negativity, it's to transform it, to take its raw energy and shape it into something that serves you. Just as a sculptor takes an unshaped block of stone and slowly reveals the form within, you can take the rough shape of a thought and refine it into wisdom. Every time you reframe a thought, you choose strength over fear, hope over despair. And in that choice, overthinking loses its grip, replaced by a quieter, steadier confidence that carries you forward. When you learn to reframe your thoughts, something shifts. But to truly step out of overthinking, there's another foundation you must build. And that brings us to our next step in today's journey, trusting the wisdom within. At the root of overthinking lies self-doubt, the quiet but persistent voice that asks, what if I'm wrong? What if I can't handle this? It's the fear that every choice needs endless analysis before you can act. But Buddhism reminds us of a truth we often forget. You have already walked through storms. You have stumbled, learned, adapted, and grown. And each time you found a way forward. Trusting yourself doesn't mean believing you'll never make mistakes. It means knowing that even when you do, you'll have the strength and resilience to rise again. It's a quiet confidence, built not from perfection, but from survival and growth. Think of your life as a mountain trail you've been climbing. Sometimes the fog was so thick you couldn't see the path ahead. Yet here you are, still moving, still breathing. That's proof enough that you have what it takes. The more you trust yourself, the less you feel the urge to dissect every decision. You begin to act from a place of inner clarity, not constant hesitation. And in that shift, overthinking loses its grip. Here's a simple practice. When doubt starts whispering, pause and gently say, I don't need all the answers right now. I trust myself to grow through this. Let those words sink in. Feel them as truth, not just affirmation. Remember, self-trust is like a muscle. The more you use it, the stronger it becomes. Each time you choose to believe in your ability to handle life, you train your mind to stand steady even in uncertainty. And in that steadiness, you'll find a peace that no amount of overthinking could ever give you. When you begin trusting yourself, something beautiful happens. You stop clinging so tightly to every decision. And from here, we arrive at another powerful lesson in our journey today: releasing the illusion of certainty. One of the biggest traps of the mind is the need to know for sure. We crave guarantees, assurances that every choice is the right one, that the future will unfold exactly as we imagine. But this hunger for certainty is the perfect fuel for overthinking. It keeps us spinning in circles, trying to predict the unpredictable. Buddhism teaches a liberating truth: impermanence. Everything changes. Our moods, our circumstances, the people around us, even our dreams. The more we fight this truth, the more restless we become. But when we accept that life is meant to be uncertain, we begin to flow with it instead of against it. Letting go of certainty doesn't mean becoming careless. It means trusting that you can navigate life's currents even without knowing every twist ahead. It's like sailing. You can't control the wind, but you can adjust your sails. Here's a simple practice. When your mind fixates on what will happen, gently shift to what can I do today? Bring your attention back to what's within your control right now: your actions, your mindset, your gratitude for this very moment. Gratitude in particular is a powerful anchor. The more you appreciate what is instead of fearing what might be, the more peace takes root in your heart. This shift is not weakness, it's quiet strength. It's choosing to walk with trust rather than fear. And in that trust, you discover a freedom that no amount of control could ever give you. If letting go of certainty is like loosening your grip on life's wheel, then the next step is learning to listen, not to the world's noise, but to the stillness beneath it. And that's where we arrive at another profound lesson: the quiet power of silence. In Buddhism, silence is not emptiness. It's a sacred space. It is the home your mind returns to when it's tired of running. We live in a world that worships noise, constant notifications, endless chatter, the hum of busyness. But in silence, we remember who we are without all the distractions. When you stop chasing every thought, your mind begins to breathe. Like a muddy river settling when the current slows, silence allows the sediment of worry to sink, revealing the clear water beneath. This clarity isn't forced. It simply appears when there is space for it. A simple practice. Carve out a few minutes each day with no phone, no music, no agenda. Just your breath, your body, and the quiet. At first, it might feel strange, even uncomfortable, because silence strips away the noise we use to avoid ourselves. But stay with it. In that quiet, you'll begin to see your thoughts for what they are: passing clouds, not storms you must chase. The more you welcome silence, the more you realize it's not about escaping the world. It's about meeting it with a calm heart. This stillness becomes a soft but unshakable strength, a refuge you can return to anytime, no matter how loud life gets. Silence is not just an absence of noise, it's an opening, a doorway. And when you step through it, you arrive here, the present moment. This is where life actually happens. Not in the pages of yesterday, not in the drafts of tomorrow, but here, now, in this breath you are taking. Buddhism teaches that the present moment is the only real home we have. The past is already sealed, the future has not yet arrived. But this breath, this gentle rise and fall of your chest, is alive, real, and full of possibility. Every breath can be a soft bell, calling you back from the storms of your mind. When you notice it, you step out of the spiral of thoughts and back into the truth of your own being. It's like returning to a safe harbor after drifting in restless waters. Let go of rushing. The world will still turn without you chasing every moment. Instead, wrap yourself in stillness, as if you were sitting under a quiet tree, feeling the wind move gently through the leaves. When you stop chasing, you start receiving peace, clarity, and the lightness of simply being. Living fully in the present is the greatest gift you can give yourself. And like all true gifts, it doesn't stop with you. Your calm becomes a refuge for others. Your presence tells them, without words, it's safe to slow down. It's safe to breathe. So take this breath as if it were the first. Take the next as if it might be the last. And in between, let your heart remember, life is not something to get to. It's something to be in. We've walked through the wisdom of letting go, of trust, of presence, and now we arrive at the heart of making it last. Practice, building daily rituals for a calm mind. Just as the body grows stronger with regular exercise, the mind too needs its own training to remain steady, clear, and at peace. Without it, the noise of the world can slowly creep back in, and the storms of overthinking can return. Buddhism teaches that peace is not an accident. It is cultivated, like tending a quiet garden. Each day you water it with your attention, protect it with your boundaries, and let it flourish in its own time. This is what daily rituals do. They turn peace into a habit, not just a passing moment. Begin with stillness meditation. Sit quietly. Feel the breath move in and out. Watch thoughts drift across the mind like clouds across an open sky, appearing, moving, and disappearing without your interference. Over time, the mind learns that it doesn't have to chase every thought to survive. Then take to the page with journaling. Let your pen be a river that carries away the clutter in your head. Every worry, question, or unspoken fear has a place to go. When you write it down, it stops demanding space in your mind. What's left is room for clarity, for peace. Each day, anchor yourself with gratitude. It could be sunlight streaming through the window, the taste of warm tea, or a kind smile from a stranger. Gratitude shifts your mind from what is missing to what is already here. It brings you home to the present moment, where anxiety loses its grip. Bring mindfulness into your actions. Whether you are eating, walking, or washing dishes, let yourself be fully there. Notice the weight of the plate, the rhythm of your steps, the texture of your food. When the mind is busy being present, it cannot be tangled in the knots of what if. And finally, honor the need for rest and relaxation. This is not laziness. It is deep wisdom. The mind, like the body, heals in stillness. Step outside for fresh air, listen to calming music, or simply close your eyes and breathe. Keep these rituals consistent, and you'll begin to notice something subtle yet profound. Peace no longer feels like a fleeting visitor, but like a permanent resident in your life. Overthinking loses its urgency. The storms quiet down, and in their place grows a steady, quiet strength that no chaos can touch. Overthinking is like a storm that never ends until you realize you can step outside of it. These 8 Buddhist lessons are not just ideas to think about. They are tools, keys to a door you may have forgotten was even there, a door that opens to a place you've always longed for, the quiet, steady home within yourself. Peace has never been out there. It's not waiting at the end of a perfect plan or in the approval of others. It's here, right now, in the space between your thoughts, in the breath you are taking at this very moment. The more you practice these teachings, seeing thoughts for what they are, releasing the what-if machine, trusting yourself, reframing your perspective, embracing silence, letting go of certainty, and building daily rituals, the more you'll notice the storm losing its power over you. Imagine this. One day you find yourself in the middle of what would have once triggered hours of spiraling thoughts. But instead of drowning, you feel your feet firmly on the ground. You hear the storm, but it no longer shakes you. That is the quiet strength you are cultivating here. So let me leave you with this. Your mind is not your enemy. It's a wild horse that, with patience and kindness, can learn to walk beside you instead of dragging you through the mud. Every breath, every moment of awareness is an opportunity to take the reins gently. I invite you now, pause for just one breath and notice the stillness that's already here. That is yours to keep. If any of these lessons touch something deep within you, I'd love for you to share it in the comments. Which one spoke to your heart the most? And if you're ready to keep walking this path together, subscribe and join me in the next video, where we'll dive even deeper into the timeless wisdom of Buddhism and how it can transform the way you see and live your life. Your journey out of the storm begins with a single, gentle step. Let's take it together.